So at the Knee Institute and Regenerative Medicine, we became the only accredited facility in the state of Michigan with the Osteoarthritis Centers of America. And what are they? Okay, there's 100 centers across the United States, and the Knee Institute of Regenerative Medicine is the only accredited facility in the state of Michigan. And to keep that accreditation, we have to keep very detailed records and data every single day and have to turn it into them. And what happens is they take that data and they crunch it into an algorithm, and they utilize it for research and development and also publish papers. And so what they did is they had designed a protocol which is patent process that can only be used by them, and we utilize that protocol. What is that protocol? Okay, number one is the viscosupplementation and injecting the hyaluronic substance into the knee, and to do it 5 times over the course of 8 weeks. Okay. The other thing is, when the patient first comes in, we have all that imaging. They get a steroid shot to just give them some temporary relief of inflammation. It's not going to last real long. And then the next step is we give an arthrogram. And what it is just a little bit of dye injected into the knee, and then it creates a picture so that we can see exactly what's going on there. And so we have that. And we take that picture and we keep it. And then as we progress through an 8-week protocol, we can begin to see exactly what's happening. So we can start to see improvement rather than just anecdotally thinking it's working there. And all of this data goes back to the Osteoarthritis Centers of America there, so that they can do the research. And when we talk about research, okay, it's really interesting. It was about 9 months ago. They had 20,000 patients in the study group, and out of the 20,000 patients, there were no drugs and no surgery and 95% success. Now that's almost unrealistic. It's almost too good to be true. But it's a published study, and so it's reality. It's not just somebody orally saying that it's 95% effective. And these are the things that they do, and they're working on a whole bunch of other areas in concert with knee pain there. So that's a really important thing that we do there. Now after that, in that 8-week session, they'll get the 5 injections, but during that, we also give them physical therapy. It's all under one roof. That's real important, because the whole environment is a controlled environment. So it's not where we're over here getting an injection, and we're over here getting physical therapy, and we're over here getting a home exercise, and we're over there getting a brace. It's all controlled in one environment so that we can maintain those outcomes. And medicine should be nothing but about outcomes there. And so we do that, and in all honesty, we get even higher than 95%, so it's important. So we send them to physical therapy 3 times a week for 8 weeks, but it's not normal physical therapy. So it's not like if you've been to a physical therapist's office and they put a hot pack on you, which feels real good while they put it on, and then by the time you get home, that feel good isn't there anymore. We don't do that. And we don't do ultrasound, and that's where they put the ultrasound gel on the joint, and they have a wand that they spread it around, and it does, again, give you temporary results. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for long-term results there. Some may give you a brace. And to be very careful, because this brace, if it goes on, should be a hinged brace, not something like the Tommy Copper stuff, and it should be measured to your own requirements. Everybody's knee's different, everybody's size different, everybody's legs different, and so it's not a one-size-fit-all type of situation there. And so it's measured very carefully, and it's put in the right place, and the patient is instructed on how to use this. And most importantly, we do not, under any circumstances, wanting them to wear it all the time. What happens is, it is there for stability only, and should only be worn for about an hour and a half a day. But what happens is patients will start to feel good with that, and so they start to wear it all the time, and then they become very dependent on it, and then when you take it off, they're in a lot of difficulty. So we personally fit each person customly, and we make sure that they only wear it an hour to an hour and a half a day there over the 8-week period. So it's really important to do that there. The other thing is in our physical therapy, we do what's called three-dimensional physical therapy. And the reason we call that is, number one, is the joint is three-dimensional. Okay, so we just want to treat it one-dimensionally, we want to treat it three-dimensionally. The second thing when we're doing that is the function of it. So we want to make sure the function is there. So if I was a person, and let's say I was walking, and my one foot was like this, and my one foot is like this, I could go to regular physical therapy, and they would strengthen that all up, and I'd walk out of there like this with this foot turned. In functional physical therapy, we want to bring that back in concert with the other, so that it works the way it's supposed to work. And sometimes you can strengthen somebody up when they're over here, and you'll even create more pain, okay? So that's the difference. One of the first things we look at is swelling, edema, okay? And when it's swelling up like that, we need to get that out. So that's the first thing we do, is get rid of the swelling, because it creates a lot of problems if we're trying to get the mobility and the pain taken care of. So that's real important, we get the swelling down. The next thing we do is we start to get deeper into the tissues. It's like an onion, you know, it has different layers. So when you're taking an onion apart, it's one after another, and we do that. And so there's a whole bunch of different things we did, and if you listened to our program last week, we had Mr. Nix here, who is a physical therapist and was an instructor at Wayne State University Physical Therapy School, and director of several hospitals in this area. He was at Pontiac General Hospital 20 years ago, and he was also a head of physical therapy at Bi-County Hospital, and he's been practicing for about 35 years. So we've developed this program that we utilize, and it has brought our outcomes significantly up and gave patients significant relief, and that's really important. To the point, the other thing we want to do is stretch, okay? And you can't stretch enough. So what we've been working on is we have a crude device, biomechanics device, to do that. We are now working in concert with Lawrence Tech University, with their biomedical department, their engineering department, and their business department, to develop a biomechanic device that will actually function so people can get enough stretch at home as well as the clinical model there. And it's very exciting. It's going to take a significant amount of time to get this done, but we're all working in concert so this can be available so that we can get much better outcomes for the patient as well as the physical therapist. So we put all that together in a protocol, so it's really important. And we also want to send a patient home with home exercises so that they continue to, most importantly, stretch those muscles out. It is just so important there. And that's why we are working on the medical device that we have. It's extremely important there. So stretching is a number one thing. Getting all that fluid out is a number one thing. And then working on the mechanics of the joint and the muscle and the tendons, so they can get back to where they were with normality. So it's sort of an exciting thing. It's different than anywhere else. We are keeping the data via fluoroscopy and color ultrasound, so we can compare where a person was day one, where they were 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. We bring them in 6 months and see where everything is going to assist them. Almost every patient, and we've had hundreds, comes in and said, I've never been through anything like this. How come nobody's told me about it? It's just because we're trying to be innovative and do something that nobody else has done there, and to create a lifestyle that we once had there, and we can move forward, because mobility and pain are two important things that we have to deal with here. Now, one of the interesting things that we get asked all the time is, how much does this cost? The good news is it is a covered benefit by Medicare. It's a covered benefit by Blue Cross and most major insurances for the whole protocol of what we do. And what's really interesting is Blue Cross has just sent a memo down to all of the providers, informing them of things they have to do before they do this stuff. So all those things that we're doing, taking the x-rays and all of those things, are now becoming protocol for Medicare and Blue Cross for the provider. So it was really sort of fun and cool for us because we don't have to make any changes. We've been doing this. So it sort of makes us feel like we helped the getting the right protocol there. So that's really an exciting thing for us. But more exciting for the patient is if you have Medicare or Blue Cross as an example, it's a covered benefit. So it doesn't cost you anything. You'll be able to do the whole program in one location there. One other thing that I add that I think is important is laughter and smile is the best medicine there is out there. And we really encourage it. There's a lot of interfacing with patients and with the practitioners. And it's like a family, and there's a lot of laughter and a lot of smiling, a lot of humor going on. And I believe that has a big effect on the outcomes also. So it's a very unique protocol there. I would encourage you, if you want any more information on this, you can contact the station here or the telephone number that's on your screen there. So to summarize, number one is osteoarthritis does not have to control your life. You can have control of your life. So look at the options out there for you and look at what is best for you and look at what is going to be the most effective for you so you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night with pain. You don't have a hard time getting out of a chair like me or an airplane there. You can do the normal activities you did before. You can walk your dog now. You can play with your grandchildren or your children there. Osteoarthritis is primarily found in 50 and up age group, but we see it all the way down into teenagers, but the majority of it is in that area. So the good news is we have an option that works, and we have an option that we don't have to tolerate pain anymore. We have an option that we don't have to worry about drugs. And as we all know, there's a big, big concern about opioids. And we have a sign in our office, we do not prescribe opiates. What we prescribe is no drugs and no surgery to get the maximum results and quality of life for you. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and I look forward to our next visit when we bring in several guests and we can talk about how these conditions affect the family unit at home. So with that, I bid you goodbye, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Have a very good day.